All right, part two, we're getting there. So with this first offer, 100% cash, I basically get $300,000 more at closing than I would with the seller financing, because I've got that seller financing deal, right? That's making me about $1,000 up to $1,500 a month, which is like a HELOC, but for personal financing, because I still own the house. It's like a car note. It's still mine. If they default, I get the house back. So that's another angle, but I don't want to repost someone's house. Not my style. I don't need to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Anyway, so back to, there's a lot of information that I'm saying, and I'm saying it really quickly. If you guys ever have any questions, my door is always open. My phone is usually on me, or something's on me. My watch is always on. So I do answer the calls, but I'm going over a lot of some really technical things, and I'm breezing over them. But if you ever have any questions, my door is always open. So on closing day, that $300,000 cash, I'm going to actually convert that into $1 million property, because I am going to be approved for $1 million property if I put down $300,000 cash. Actually, it would be 1.2, but for the sake of math, we're just going to go with $1 million right now. I usually I have to put 25% down to get the good loan terms, and I put down the least amount of money I can to get the favorable loan terms, and that's so specific to each deal. But we're just summarizing and making estimates at this point. So I'm going to take that $300,000, turn it into $1 million property, and I'm doing numbers here in Colorado. So I'm going to rent that sucker out for $6,000 a month. My expenses are going to be approximately $5,000 a month, and which means I'm going to get a positive cash flow of $1,000 a month, $36,000 over 3 years, which actually equals my financing. But now I'm not done yet. So now we're almost even. $36,000 in OPM, other people's money. That's the kicker here, and that's how the that's how the rich get richer. It's because we're making money off other people's money. And we're doing it in a nice, no one's getting ripped off here. This is just finance. This is just real estate. And everyone's getting paid. So $1,000 a month in OPM, just like this one. However, I've also got that rent payment. It's building equity for 3 years. I've got appreciation, and I only went at 5%, even though I think 5% is really low for Colorado. It's actually been closer to 11 to 13% the last 20 years. However, right now I think prices are a little bit high, and so there might be a little, not significant, not circa 2008, but maybe a little bit of a price drop when more things become available. And since I'm an investor, I can be a little bit more aggressive with my pricing when I buy properties, because I'm not emotionally attached to it, and I get rejected a lot, and that's okay. I don't care. I'm just trying to get the numbers to work out. So if 1 in 20 of my offers works, super. I'm not emotionally attached to any of them, which gives me a lot more freedom, and I can do a lot more things with that. So, all right. So appreciation at 5%, that would be potentially around $150,000. And I did not do the accurate math here. I just we're doing simple math without a calculator. So don't nail me to the cross for making assumptions right now. It's actually higher than that because of the principle of compounding. But for the sake of argument, I now have another $150,000 in equity from this property, which doesn't even exist here because other people were actually getting that equity on their house. So equity build, so plus, that's not, I almost thought I wrote tequila there, and I was like, already, it's 11 o'clock. It's plus equity build, potentially $75,000 a year, because if you're going from the interest payments, equity build plus, so that's another number. So I did equity build, and appreciation. So the equity you are building, that's kind of confusing how I wrote that down, is potentially $75,000 a year, and that is including the interest, which actually, if you add it all up over a 3-year period, that's $225,000